Well, good morning, Thomas, and thanks for joining us on AM 1000, ESPN Chicago. Hopefully, you took a weekend to take a deep breath, spend some time with family. How you feeling?
I feel pretty good. Time off can be good and bad. I think I definitely enjoyed some time off with my family. It's great to have them in town and spend time with them and kind of explore the city, some my wife and my boys. Also, just kind of frustrating as far as kind of going back and recapping some things that transpired, thinking about ideas about how to fix some of the problems that we have and get ready to go move forward and get back to work.
All right. So, with that being said, for a head coach, and I even need for as a broadcaster, I reflect on my performance, and you could be having a conversation with somebody, your son, daughter, wife, whatever the case may be, and I'm thinking about something here, and I'm not. Is that the natural thing for a football coach? It's hard to compartmentalize everything.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's natural for human beings in general. I think we all have our own issues. I think sometimes our issues become bigger than what they really are compared to the rest of the world because it's our issues. But obviously, having a public job, public career, that can kind of compound some of those deals. But I think just being able to, find ways to be present because my family is awesome. They are my motivators, my backbone. So I try to be as present as possible when I'm around them. But definitely thoughts do come up. Conversations do get started from time to time that kind of out of nowhere. And that mood can go up and down and change based on what my thoughts are. But it's definitely part of it.
All right, what'd you reflect on about that game?
Yeah, I mean, I thought a defense did an awesome job for the most part all night. They battled their butts off. They forced punch. They got a turnover. Obviously, special teams battled their butts off as well. And offensively, we were crappy. So that's really irritating to me, just based on one being a play caller and running things offensively. A lot of stuff got to get cleaned up as far as our operation, our detail overall, even just from a quarterback standpoint. There was some bright moments here and there as far as making some plays, particularly into the game, fourth quarter, driving the ball down the field and coming close to having a chance to really end it because I was going for a touchdown at the end of the game, which I don't regret one bit at all. But just as far as his preparation, his growth, maturation as a rookie quarterback is by far and away the most difficult job. That everybody knows that, but just trying to find ways to hone in on mastering the game plan, mastering the details so we can be in the best spot possible to go win games.
Yeah, I think it's so many games deep with one game to go. I have to imagine because the frustration level of if you really break things down, and I know this is really oversimplifying, but over the course of the season, you take maybe 12 to 20 plays, which is a couple of games that
Yep.
were just backbreakers.
Oh yeah.
This could feel a whole lot different, and you can't look back. You got to fix what happened, and it just seems to have lingered through the course of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most frustrating thing for me is obviously having different roles and watching it kind of transpire. Obviously, being the pass game coordinator first, and then being the OC, and now being the interim head coach, and seeing it from different levels, but understanding of football is a game of inches, and it's this is not horseshoes and hand grenades, so it's not almost say shoulda, woulda, coulda, how close you at. The result's a result. But I think it becomes more frustrating to me when you have opportunity to execute, have good matchups, have good play design. We just don't do a good enough job either coaching the details or executing as players. Because to me, it's one thing if we just line up against people, people just physically outmatch you and you just get beat over and over again. That's one thing. I don't have a tough time with that anyway, too. But I think it's kind of a little bit easier to swallow when it comes to that versus missed opportunities and some of the stuff, same stuff showing up week in and week out.
I have a feeling I know what the answer is going to be when you tell me, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Uh, and this is not just about you, obviously, but I do have a question about you because few have been through the roller coaster, not just this year, but last year, of being put in different positions and, okay, fix this. Um, I know you welcome the opportunity, but just how challenging has it been to go from all these different roles in a very short period of time, and now you're leading this football team?
Yeah, I don't think people realize necessarily what all goes into these jobs, period. Whether it be the one I had previously, the pass game coordinator, to be an OC, to, being in the interim head coach role, but also the difficulty that comes with it transpiring over a number of weeks. And obviously, I do know that I'm built for it. I appreciate the opportunities guys provided for me, but also the strength to battle through them. Because they're not made for the weak. Obviously, anytime you have interim roles because something went wrong and trying to fix a problem. But I think just understanding of trying to how to battle myself every single day, and battle with the problems, like not attacking people, but the problems and removing the problems from our environment is really because sometimes the true test of a leader. They're trying to find ways to I won't say motivate because I have an issue sometimes with motivation versus inspiration, but inspire the group and figure out how to make what makes each individual guy tick and put it all together, kind of have a collective group effort, and also just change the mentality. I think as you talked about some of the stuff that kind of transpires game in and game out, it becomes psychological, it becomes mental, and having a battle discipline to the execution to belief overall and changing a losing culture, losing environment can be a tall task to take on in a few weeks. But like I said before, I welcome every challenge. Even though it's frustrating to go through it, it does make me personally a lot better, a lot stronger. I think it kind of goes the same with anybody that takes on a challenge and has the right approach, the right mentality towards it.
All right, let's dig into some of the details of that game. He was praised and has been all season long, Caleb, for his what Mike McDonald called his phenomenal ability to make plays under duress, which
Yeah.
he did in this game. The drop snap play, the different arm slots that he can and fire the football. But let's take that in and of itself right there, because he's made some unbelievable plays as we expected him to from what we saw in college.
Yeah, definitely. I think he is a special talent, has special ability. We actually had a meeting this morning. That was a pretty lengthy conversation between he and I. I talk a lot of times, so I probably did most of the talking. But there's no doubt of belief in his ability and his maturation and growth for years to come to be a great player. But my focus is also on just the day in, day out, the play in, play out, playmaking ability. Every play does not have to turn into a scramble drill. We don't have to make miraculous hero plays every single play. I think the understanding of how to, play QB from the pocket, to have rhythm and timing, to understand how to pick and choose some spots to have some off schedule plays going to continue to grow with him, but also just the command that he has to have as being the QB. I think when you step into the huddle, your communication skills, your leadership ability is kind of based on how the whole entire group is going to respond. Is your attitude, your mentality. So always trying to find ways to pour into him. He is a young rookie, which has a ton of ability and a long way to go, but definitely trying to find ways to make him better every day.
There was a lot of horizontal in that game. He's really good at the screen game. Again, I assume because of the arm slot
Right.
ability and all that. Do you feel that's a strength?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think you talk about trying to find ways to alleviate the pressure off the quarterback and also slow down some of the rush is the screen game. When we talk about being able to run the football effectively on normal D&D, which we did at times throughout the entire night. And luckily, the game was close enough we could remain relatively balanced and keep that going, which is a big part of it. But definitely it has all the ability as far as changing arm angles, no look throws, plus also manipulating second level defenders with his eyes as well to help out with the screen game. But the screen game was also more about slowing down some of their rush. They have some really good rushers up front. Plus, also giving him a breather down instead of having to drop back and throw the football. Get the ball out of his hands, out playmakers in space that this guy's going to work.
What I liked about the defense was there were a lot. They always this term of many hands make quick work. A bunch of different guys stood up and made plays, especially on that defensive line. And of course, the steady play of T.J. Edwards has been consistent here the last 2 years. You can always count on a good day's work from him. Just kind of focus on that for a second.
Yes, that's one thing I talked about with Eric, and kind of kudos to him and the staff to kind of addressing a couple of things that were brought up when I first took over at the San Fran game was how can we find ways to get our best guys on the field and find matchups. So you talk about the rotation up front, D line wise, want to keep guys fresh. I think it all starts on normal D&D as far as being physical up front, displacing blocks, being throwing hands at the point of contact to be able to stop the run game and slow that down, which they did a pretty good job of trying to stay balanced against us, which is not the norm. They're kind of more of a pass happy offense, which they kind of try to stay more balanced against us. But those guys being disruptive up front kind of led to some opportunities on third down to go attack the quarterback, make him flush out the pocket, but also get home at times.
All right, so we wrap things up at Lambeau. First trip there for a young quarterback. What can you tell them about what it's like to play in Green Bay? And they've had our number for a long time.
Yeah, when I think about it, it starts today. Even before we get to game day, it's just the mentality going into the week of how you operate, to digest the information, to master the details within the entire game plan, but also ignoring the outside noise, the outside noise of a loud crowd on Sunday, but also the outside noise leading up to the game, which I think becomes very difficult for this generation because they are glued to their phones, and it's everyone has a platform and a voice and has an opinion, and they probably read too much of it, which is, it is what it is. But I think being able to understand how to control the controllables, for himself to be locked in, to be the leader he should be. But also, when it comes down time to it, it's about operation, one play at a time, right? Not trying to be Superman every single snap. There's some times in the games we talked about he can make some miraculous plays, but it's how can you get guys lined up, communicate play calls fast, make sure you're protected before the ball snaps as far as pre-snap identification, and obviously post-snap being able to operate at a high level.
All right, Thomas, appreciate it. Good luck with the prep this week.
Thank you. I appreciate that.